Hey guys, welcome to another stream, and we're back with 2d6 Dungeon and another session with Arundal Knox, our hero, who is currently in level 2. It's 2d6 Dungeon. Let me just bring up my stream here and check the sound. Bear with me. Sounds good to me. Now, is that... Let me just check. Yeah, that looks okay. Good. Hi, Nick. Hi, Brian. How you doing, guys? Kasuk, how are you doing? Good, good, good. Yep, that sounded all right to me. Johnny, yay, made the beginning this time. Good to have you here, Johnny. And Nick, wonderful feedback on the combat testing. Thank you, that is really great. And then I've seen you sent a second email, my friend, and I'm going to go through that. There's some little changes I saw. I briefly scanned it that I will make to these new creatures. So thanks again for that. That's absolutely awesome. Hope everybody's well. I'm certainly feeling a lot better, having, I think, probably fully recovered from the COVID or the flu, whatever I had those weeks back. So that's a good thing. I'm feeling much better. Although I think I may have taken in some gluten a few days ago. I am a celiac. I don't know whether I've spoken about this before. Cody, how are you doing? Good to see you. And I'm very allergic to gluten, so if I get a bit of that, it makes me very lethargic, and I have been struggling to focus a little bit. But anyway, that is by the by. So we have this is the changelog. Halfway through combat test, we'll send it over tomorrow. Excellent. So Brian, one of the things that I'll probably be asking you is, and I can ask you now, as you do it, if you think any of them need slight adjustments, put that on the email as well. That would be so cool. Nick has done the same, and it looks like there are maybe a couple of things that could be changed. Hey Todd, how are you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, so that would be fantastic. If anything, just little notes. You don't have to do massive stuff. Obviously, if you want to write more, that's great. But I'm happy just translating the little small notes. JB Moya, how are you doing? How you doing, Brett? Good to see you. Toby ! Yeah, I'm doing well. So. Yeah, it's been exciting. Oh, my lord. Working on levels 5 and 6. The Infernal and the Cultist Den. So 5 and 6. I'm about halfway through doing those. So we're pushing on through, which is brilliant. I'm great, thank you, sir. Glad to make one of these live. I'm glad that you're here. Awesome. We're going to be going over the rules changes quickly. I printed out the new rules. Oh, it's expensive keeping all these things printed, but it's definitely worth it. And let me just go up just a dot there. There we are. And I printed out the new ones so that I can highlight the areas that have been some changes. These changes, well, there's two main things really. The first thing is Brent has gone over the language and has just ironed it out, adding a comma here, maybe changing a word there, maybe with the more complex paragraphs, slightly rephrasing some of it for me that I'm sort of a bit bogged down in. You do tend to get bogged down in your own descriptions of these things. And so he did that, and he could do that in the publisher document, which is really handy for me, because it's kind of evolved into me working in the publisher document, which isn't great practice, admittedly, but it has made things quicker. And at the moment, it's all about trying to get things done and making it quick, even although I say that, I have taken my time with these rules to get these rules nailed on, which is hence we're probably a little bit behind with the codex, but we'll just see how it goes over the next couple of weeks. It does depend sometimes on what's involved in life. Having I've got 3 kids. Sometimes we might go out with the family and stuff like that, and because we've got the UK Games Expo coming up, which is exciting. So we're preparing for that. A lot of time still on 2d6, but I'm having to make sure there are certain things ready for that, such as the new Rad Zone expansion, which I might have showed you last week. We've got some other bits and pieces coming in as well, which are really helpful. Did you happen to get my Combat Tester app email today? Yes, I did. Did I not, Brett? Did I not respond to that? I was thinking about responding to it. I've been preparing for this. I did, and I haven't. I think I read it on my phone, and I didn't click the app on my phone because I wanted to look at it on here. But I love the sound. I love the sound of it. So we can run some tests and see how it goes. That'll be awesome. So, by all means, get going on that. I know that you've done some of it already, but you said that there were some things that needed to be sorted. So, but one of the things that one of the things that is I've learnt about this whole sequence is that the testers provide me invaluable feedback. So whereas we get the data, which is awesome, like Nick has been able to highlight where he thinks areas need to be tweaked. I'm sure Brian will do the same. And anybody who gets their hands on that, it's a mix of feedback, isn't it? The stats and then and then the people feedback. So that is vital. So, as I said, I pointed these out. So we've got version 0.99 for the rules, and then tables 1 to 4 here. So levels 1 to 4. So big thanks go to Brent for doing that work through. Now that also includes lots of people's suggestions and typos and things pointing out errors or things that needed to be picked up. So I did those first, then handed it to Brent. So everybody's sort of contributed to getting the rules to this stage, which I really am grateful. And I'd like to say my thanks to everybody who's been involved with that side of it. But I like to sort of almost draw a line here. Unless you're one of the key testers, I think we're just about done with kind of labouring over the rules. I think you can get to a point where you can just keep going and going and going. But I think we are at a point now where it's looking really clean. So that is hopefully people's impression when they read it. I'm actually going to print out a couple of copies, maybe 10 copies of the rules in this state that I can have with me at UK Games Expo to show people what the game is. So I'm that pleased with how it is at the moment. So that is a great place to be. Okay, so let's just have a little look here. Briefly go over this. I want to really carry on with level 2 with Arundal Knox and see how he gets on. And we will continue that session. So, page 9. Each weapon is also blessed by the Zegor priests, so can damage undead. So I just put it in this little thing. Okay, it's really the basis for the levels 3 and 4. So if you're like me and you've got a long history in games and RPG, undead have got some sort of magical quality about them. And sometimes in some games you need holy water, you need silver weapons or something like that. So what I just put in there, so that people couldn't actually question whether we can destroy these undead creatures, is I put that the Zegor priests have blessed the weapon so that it can affect the undead. So that's just a little bit of caveat, a little bit of just covering all bases. And also in the same section, I put a wax kit for potion bombs. So when you make your potion bombs, you do a little bit of magic. You put the wax on the seal, inscribe a rune into it, and that gives it that kind of magic spark. Okay, so the potion bombs work, and we'll look at those a bit more in a sec. We did look at them last week, so I won't labour too much on that one. Major update to adventurer levels. So this is important. So we've had numerous comments from people about adventure levels, and one of the things that people would point out is obviously you go to some levels and you wouldn't necessarily get much benefit. So I've tried to amend that a bit, and I've added in +2 to the discipline at a much earlier stage, and then it goes up higher to +5. So you want to check this out with your new adventurers. Get in there and just check. Well, as you progress, you get more, you're rewarded more, and it doesn't actually make too much difference if I increase the discipline bonuses. It just makes avoiding traps and stuff like that a bit easier as you get into the game. You also get access to the level 2 maneuvers. So how do you become a master? There is no XP requirement. Well, there is, because these are slightly confusing. But when you're level 9, you get 25,000 XP and you become a master. So when you're level 1, you get 100 XP and you become level 2. I know it's a kind of weird. If you think about it for too long, you get confused, But it's a straight out. So for the next level, so this column is XP to level up. Okay, that's the XP you need to level up to the next level. So when you're level 4, to level up to level 5, you need 2,000. I see. Apologies. Makes you level. Yes. No. Honestly, you're not the only one who's asked. No, you're not dumb, Brett. You're not. Okay. That is just. It's just something that a few people have said. It is the very nature of reading the table. It is slightly confusing, but there's not much other way of putting it, really, unfortunately. So if you hit the 25,000, now that sounds like a lot of. If you say compare a monk, Infernal Monk here, you get 15 XP, and then you look at it and you think, blimey, 25,000. Well, as you go down the levels, they are going to increase in XP. So if we look at, say, the Infernal Cardinal, which is a new level 6 creature, that has got 950 XP. All right, that's level 6. So look here, 5,000 to go to the next level, to level 7. So it is a balance. It isn't necessarily easy, and it's something we may have to adjust a little bit once we've got all the levels. We lay it out and look at it and play it through. But making sure we get the right level of XP is so paramount. It's really important. So so the table has been updated. So you need to check that when you're playing. Update the entrance room graphic. So that's a nice simple thing. The picture was out of date based upon an old rule. Page 13, removed. Roll for exits as you would a room. Added all exits from corridors are archways. Just to confirm, archways are... exits from corridors are archways. Now, that was the way it was initially. Then I kind of played around with maybe not. And then I've gone back to the archways after sort of feedback and people's thoughts about that. So we are looking at corridors have archways. Okay. Also added, place exit squares on corridors as if they were rooms. The open end of a corridor can either be closed off or used as an exit. So there's a kind of flexible ruling on where you put your exit blocks. Now, if you've just got an open corridor, you can put an exit square on the end, or you don't have to. So it's completely up to you on that part, but it's clear we're trying to use the exit squares as much as possible to give that space to the dungeon. And it's pretty clear. I mean, if you look at, say, someone like Brian's maps, they're very neat in the sense the layout. Okay, and that's because they're nicely spaced. if someone's not applying these rules, you tend to find the dungeon becomes a bit congested around areas. And just from the loads of the dungeons that I've looked at, and I've thought to myself, yeah, I think it really looks better if those spaces are there. And it also means you have maybe 1 or 2 rooms less in that dungeon level, which is really where we're aiming at the balance. So that's important. So that has kind of been there. Now it's not to say that you can't kind of house rule that if you feel like there's an exit square isn't needed there, or just go with it. That's one of the things. That's one of the things about this game, that you can do that. But yet, if you look at all the maps that we've got, they've all got some commonality to them, which is what it's the sort of signature of the game. 17. Added, if it is a mindless creature that comes through, it has smashed the door. Okay, so as we go deeper into the dungeon, there are going to be, say, crypt levels 3 and 4. You have got zombies and skeletons, and they're not necessarily going to have keys, are they? So what if the door's locked and you're waiting for them to come through? What are they going to unlock the door? No. What they do is they bust through the door. So I've just added in a little bit of clarification there. I knew there was a reason I was setting up my computer. Then I noticed the time. Welcome, Jimmy and Jose. I hope I said that right. Page 26. Added, some throwing weapons are listed with a modifier. This is used to adjust the damage it causes and reflects the weapon quality. So, just a little thing, but something that adds a bit of fun and a bit of interest, is throwing weapons can have a plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 6, and that means that they do more damage, which opens up possibilities. So, you've got a situation where you've got a plus 4, you've got a throwing dart, and you think, it doesn't do a lot of damage. It doesn't really do a huge amount of damage, but it might be really refined, super sharp, with a special balance. So it's like plus 4, it does extra damage, and it hits the mark well. So there's that element to it as well to think about. We've added this potion bomb section, which is quite involved. So bring that up here. Potion bombs. You can see here. There's a whole description about how to use them. Then there's combinations. We talked about this last session before last when I was playing through. This is to add agency to help you use up some of those items you find in the dungeon. Increase the inventive usage aspect of the game. And I think that just kind of adds an extra depth, extra creative depth. Fingers crossed, with some agency. Have you always known what will be in each level, or is a lot of it creations as you go, or both? That's a good question. So I think I'm just tapping into sort of knowledge of so many games I've played in dungeon-based games. So I made this list at the beginning. I kind of thought, what do we want? So I came up with a inhabited air zone, a crypt zone, occult, infernal kind of zone where you've got more kind of primordial magic being worshipped and used. So you get these kind of twisted beings that live down in this level, but they're dedicated to their magic. And then we've got the menagerie and the monster maze. So there is going to be some slightly new rules. For level 8 potentially specifically, and level 7 there may be, you find one room and then it indicates that the next room is going to be one of these rooms. So there's going to be a slight adjustment. Then we've got the cursed and the dungeon lords. As we go down, you're going to have some big foes, and I kind of knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted inhabited human zones. Then I definitely wanted the crypt zone, and I wanted something about cultists, and then monsters, and then some kind of super-powered beings that you can fight and take on, and they're very specific to the dungeon, and they'll be unique, and they're the bosses. So you're kind of working your way to those bigger monsters, like you would do, say, a dragon. So yeah, I kind of had it roughly. I'm drawing upon lots of different ideas and kind of experiences And I kind of know what people expect in a human ancestry dungeon. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So potion bombs, which hopefully we'll see in action when we play the game, because I'm kind of lined up to finish off a potion bomb. So added, it costs 10 gold coins per rune. So when you find a rune stone in the game and you want to have it engraved on your weapon, it's now costs 10 gold coins. Historically, runes are, and then I've added in this section here because we've had some of these. I've named some of these runes after some of the guys that have supported the project, and there are a few other people that are I'm gonna use their names for other bits and pieces. So, which is kind of sort of doffing my hat to those good folks. So I've added in here historically runes. Excuse me. I spend all day not talking because I'm working in here in my office. Historically, runes are named after their founders, who were either blacksmiths, magic users, or most likely both. They discovered the arcane magic that was linked to the rune form, and encapsulated it in stone, a visible conduit in the world of Corodine, or engraved it on weapon to assist with the war against the subterranean scourge. So there's a kind of, we've got a kind of heritage, a reason for these runes to be. So I'm just trying to, with some of these updates, so that's it basically. Oh, also swapped around reinforced doors and metal doors. Metal doors now have a higher chance of being locked. So this is a discussion I've been having for a while with people. A reinforced door would be a wooden door with, say, metal strips, maybe some studs. So it still has wood in it, whereas a metal door would be just pure solid metal, wouldn't it? So that would be more logically, it would be locked, wouldn't it? So we kind of, I kind of almost had that in my head the first time, and then anyway, that has been changed. So now the table, when you're testing, because actually this is something that will come up. So when you're testing for locked doors, the metal door is the 4 to 6, and the reinforced door is the 5 to 6. Which actually makes it a bit easier on the lower levels as well, because there are more reinforced doors, and so there'll be less locked doors on the lower levels. Now, there are an additional 10 pages in the new tables codex for those that are backers. The latest version of the codex has a download link that you can go to and click on that, and I update that link. So that link stays the same. I just update the file that link points to. So that is now updated, and we have levels 1 to 4. So we've got all the crypt levels. The monsters have been tested. The table's text has been read by Clive, who's doing the levels text for me, which is awesome. And then we've got the testers who have been helping me balance out the monsters, which is great. Okay, so we had Arundal Knox do his first level. We've looked at this a couple of times. We won't go over that again. That is available at the Facebook page if you want to study that in more detail. We have Arundal Knox. I have updated this sheet slightly. Updated isn't quite the term. I've rewritten it. I've printed out a new sheet, and I've written it out more neatly, because we were it was getting a bit rough in places, wasn't it? Where is it? Yeah. You can see it's kind of looking a bit rough. So I've updated that. I've left the narrative moments on the old sheet, which I'll keep naturally, and I've kind of moved it all up a little bit. There is one other thing that I didn't put on here that is definitely worth noting. So I have nerfed the armor. Okay. Now, I don't know whether I pointed this out to you guys. Nick, did I point this out to you? Brian? because the armor has changed, right? Now, if we look here, you can see what I've done is I've reduced the damage modifier for leather and weaker armor. So if we go to study buckler, brigandine overcoat, leather bracers, leather breastplate, they're all now -1 damage rather than -2. I've made the adjustment on my sheet here, okay, so that we know that is going to have a massive effect. See, -1 damage. What that means is I'm going to try my hardest to get some armor, such as metal armor, like metal braces, -2 damage, because that will have a huge impact in the game. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays. So that is a massive thing. Oh, and by the way, 1010, if you're listening, welcome, my friend. I know you listen to it on the in the background there. I know you can't get to it because you're working. A trick we use in the 90s with our D&D sheets is to use the Scotch tape over the area to be written in. Stands up longer to erasers, though a softer lead is needed like a B. Good point. That is a top tip there. Thank you, Todd. I don't think I've got any Scotch tape, unfortunately, but that's pro tip going on there. Nice one. Cody says, forgive me if you've already mentioned, but will you be able to play with a party of heroes, like play with 2 instead of 1, possibly in the future, or is it meant to be pure solo? This version is pure solo. Now, I've got a couple of things lined up. For an expansion, we're going to have rules for a party. It's not a priority, I'll be honest with you. More of a priority is 2-player version. So I've got one of my guys, Patrick. Now he plays it 2-player with his wife, and he's given me some feedback. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look into that as an option for an expansion, because I actually, on the face of it, it seemed quite straightforward, but then I thought about it a bit more and it became a bit more complex. So I need to sit down and really think about that. But, of course, my focus is on getting the 10 levels done for the dungeon so that we can have this intense campaign as a solo player for the moment. Not to move you away from 2d6, but 4 AD supports a party. To be honest, it gets hard to manage. Yes. Yeah, I know. 4 against darkness. Is that 4 against darkness? I forget the exact name of it sometimes. Yeah, to be honest, I've never fancied the look of having a party to manage within myself. My focus tends to be on the one character, and then there's like attachments. So it's more like to be a companion. Yeah, 4 against darkness. I've never played it. I've looked at it, as you would imagine. Me creating a game like this. 2d6 Dungeons much better. Thanks, Brett. But I think with all these games, they have their own strengths, don't they? You know, so mine's the way that I look at my game is I'm trying to present something that's kind of more random. So you generate the rooms, the experiences. There's much more. There's a huge range of experiences. Once we get all 10 levels, it's going to be a massive tome. I would rather have options for pets. Yes, Jonathan. Yes, this is it. So the thing is, for me, pets and familiars sound exciting. So we could easily work that into our own sheet. You would be more in control of that character, if you see what I mean, because they would be an extension of your being rather than having their own identity, if you get what I mean. So if you know Radzone, one of my other games, we have companions in that game. So there's every chance that the expansion will have the companions. I'm excited, and I'm excited about familiars. I think they would be really cool, because this character is a kind of all round. He has magic. He's a warrior. He knows runes. So it would kind of make sense that he'd have a magical familiar, maybe. So that I'm going to have a play around with those ideas. Having pets will make me want to role play as Beastmaster. Lol. Old 80s movie, of course. It was a great movie. Isn't Michelle Pfeiffer in that one, Beastmaster? Hey, I could be like Mark Singer from Beastmaster with a pair of thief ferrets. Exactly. Snap. Johnny, excellent. You two are on the same wavelength. Okay, so we've got that ready. So we've got the 2 rule books. I've got my sheet, and we have the map. Let's just have a little look, because I've forgotten a little bit about where we're at with this. Let's have a little roll back here, up a bit. Now, hopefully you can see that it's not too far away. Okay, so we have our character. He's already been out once, but he's in a good situation. He's full 30 points, 30 health points. He's got he's approaching the next level of experience. He's got a couple of scrolls, 3 pieces of armor, scroll of swamp lung, which is quite vicious, 20 damage and 1 free swing. So that's going to kill a lot of the second level creatures. It doesn't look like he's going to make it up to level 4 before he goes down to level 3. So we're just going to have to see how that goes. We've got some favour points with the gods. And we're almost at the point now. We just need some water to put into the potion bottle so we can make a shrapnel burst potion bomb, which would be very nice indeed. Right, so let's get my brain in gear, and we're going to have a look. So we had a guard. Oh, I didn't write what room that was there. That's very remiss of me. So that looks like some sort of store. I can't remember. But doesn't really matter too much. So we've got a portcullis here. 2 portcullises. Now, did we roll for the portcullis? We did. The guard came. Did I write this down? Did I write that down? So, some of you guys might remember as well. So... No, I didn't make a note of that. So I think what happened was the guard came and the portcullis opened and we had to face the guard because this was just like some sort of storage room. Do some gods become more evident in deeper levels, like bigger, more powerful gods? Yes, well... The gods themselves have more of a presence as you get deeper in. So when we're down to some of the final levels, we're going to have gods appearing, gods empowering people. For the levels 5 and 6, one of the things that I've been working on is the infernal monks and all the infernal order, as it's called. They tap into lots of orbits of magic. So the scrolls, you've got your psyche, you've got your morphic, you've got your primordial and your faculty magic. And there are certain characters which use those types of magic and hone those abilities. So there are like 2 creatures that sort of slot into each of those forms of magic. And then you've got some other creatures which also use this primal, these sources of magic. So the Infernal Order is more about those orbits of magic, bringing that more into the game, because we don't really see a lot of it at this point, but it comes through in the scrolls, and some of the objects you can give you resistance to such types of magic. But once this is over, then we're going to be looking at the monsters, and then the gods will play more of a part in the levels 9 and 10. Okay, we're going into this room here. We're going to roll to see the size of it. 4 by 4, and we roll again because that is a double. So we've got 10 by 6. So, excellent. So, what that means is we have a room that fits into this space. So I can ram it in here. And because I've got an exit there, I'm not going to go right up to that. I'm going to fit it into this space. That's kind of exactly what we wanted. A nice big room. So it definitely fills in this area here. Like so. So it's going this way. The portcullis was up. We fought the guard who came through. And let's just do a little bit of shading here. Just to give you a bit of visual definition. Like so, there. Right, we'll leave, and we'll write the room here. So what is the room? How many exits does it have? Well, in fact, it's already got its exits. So with this situation, you can't have an exit on the door you came through. There's already an exit on that one, and there's no space to have an exit over here. So there would be no additional exits on this particular situation. So you wouldn't roll. All we're going to do is we're going to roll to see what is this space. 34. Let's go to 34. That's a small rooms. Here we go. Level 2. 34 is a prayer room. Okay, cool. So the prayer room, curtains line the walls and a large mural shows a dark room with an animal skull on a stool. It's unique. Let's just check. Have I had a prayer room before? I have had a prayer room before. So we're going to roll again. Always check the unique column when you're looking at the thing. 22. Fishery. There are 2 large tanks here full of fish. A fishing spear leans against the wall. Okay, let's just write this in. Now, this is interesting, okay? The question of rations has come up a couple of times. Where do people get rations from? You can now buy them in town. I think it's... I can't remember exactly how I ruled it, but it's... I think you get them from the tavern. So we've got the fishery here. Now, there are 2 large... 2 large tanks. So I'm going to draw one like this. And then one like this. Actually, that looks a bit deceptive. It makes them look like corridors. Oh well, we'll just have to put some water in here. Like so. And there are some fish in here. He's got no tail. Little fishies. Okie dokie. Right. So let's just read on here. Fishery. You may choose to fish, but become soaked. Gain 25 XP and 1 ration before you leave. Okay, so do I want to take on the soaked status? I think I do. I think we're going to do this because, as it happens, I'm down to 2 rations, and I really could do with another ration. So I'm going to gain the XP, spend some time fishing. It's a good room to be in. So again, just put it on my rations here. So I'm up to 3 rations, and I get the soaked status. Now every room I go in, I have to tick that. So people remind me to tick that particular box. I'll get pneumonia once I hit this level here. All right. Take water. Nick, you are a superstar. Right. Hi, Lizette. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Yes, the idea of familiars is something I'm going to be looking into. We'll see. It's exciting. I mustn't get too excited about it because I've got so many other things to do. But that is the possibilities of familiars is going to be really exciting, I think. So we'll take that there. So right, sounds a bit fishy to me. Scott, how are you doing, my friend? Oh man, I'm sorry it's so early over there. Good to see you. Right, so we have here in my inventory, I've got all the ingredients I need to make the shrapnel burst potion bomb. Now that, here we go. It goes into one of your potion slots. So let's just get this ready here. Just going to highlight this section. So the shrapnel burst here, 1 water, some teeth or fangs, splinters of wood, thread, Zumorus leaves. On impact, shrapnel explodes at the enemy, causing 2d6 damage. Now these are special. You can throw these bombs at any point. Okay, so in the combat, and it has no effect because basically you attach them to your clothing. You can just sort of chuck them down, and it doesn't affect. It's not like drinking a potion, which is more kind of involved. So I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to cross all these off my list here. So I've got wood splinters. That was the cross. Fangs. I've got a set of fangs there. I'm going to cross that off there. Thread. A ball of thread. Now I'm going to use some inventive usage here. So it's a ball of thread. I'm not going to get all of that ball of thread in there. So I'm going to put half a ball of thread on my list here. So I've got half a ball of thread, which allows me to sort of create another one, but it kind of makes sense. You wouldn't get a whole ball into a potion bottle. It's about common sense with these things. Zumorus leaves, and we'll cross those off the top there. And we now have a new weapon, which we can use in combat. It's just a one-time use, but it could be very handy. Javier, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Right, shrapnel burst. Shrapnel burst bomb. 2d6 damage. It goes up there, in there. Okay, cool. So that worked nicely. Thanks, Nick. It comes in with these little brilliant comments. If I could have Nick on my shoulder all day, it'd be very handy. Just telling me things I need to spot. Like one of those little kind of yin and yang characters, or right. So what we've got here is, okay, we've expanded it out. Very nice. It's quite nice to have a room where, oh, and 25 experience. Let's put that on here. So that's going to be 70, 83, 60. There we go. 683. A little bit of experience of doing the fishing. Some life skills. So it's nice to have a room where you don't necessarily fight. There's going to be more of that deeper into the dungeon, where it's like traps or just exploring a space to sort of maybe increase the atmosphere of the experience, a bit of flavour, if you like. So we've got the fishery there, very nice, and so we're going to go back again. This was a portcullis space here. Now it's interesting. We have got sometimes this happens when you're exploring a dungeon. So we've got a space down here which should be explored because it can come round to this space. Now, arguably, you could go to this room here and fill this room up and have the room go up to the wall, and there will be no way for this room to go anywhere, if you see what I mean. Speaking of XP, is there anything for completing the various quests other than what bits of treasure that may be involved? That is a good question. That is a good quest items. No, I don't think I did put XP on there. That is a good point. That's not a major change. That could just be a little tweak there. Could add in, say, gain 100 points, gain 50 points per level, say, for example. XP for minor quests. I'll put that on my notes. Good call, Todd. Brandon, been playing the game, and I must say it's very well put together, even in comparison to D100. I'm enjoying it. Thank you, Brandon. That's much appreciated. Much appreciated. Well, I've worked really hard. I've put blood, sweat, and tears into this, I'll tell you. So hopefully that comes across. Right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to explore this area down here. I could easily just do these rooms up here, but I don't think I'm going to. We've got a blank space over here as it is, and this space here we don't have to explore because that is definitely a dead end stuck in this region there. But arguably we could go up here, so I am going to put a room in down here and we're going to explore it. If you really want to be quick about it, you could go up straight up here, and you could quite justifiably say that this is a dead end down here. But I am going to explore this zone. Right, let's do it. So I'm tracking. Right, so I've got one, and this is interesting here. So I've got one. I went into that room there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So let's have a look here. There isn't any. I don't think there are any burners around that I can recall. That's another thing. If you can't remember what was in the other rooms, you can't necessarily go back to a heated space. So, looking at that, that's actually taking 1, 2, 3, 4 additional ticks. That takes me up to virtually to pneumonia levels. So we've got to hope if we're going to do it. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 2 rooms left. So one of these hopefully has got some sort of heat. Otherwise I'm going to get pneumonia and take 1 point of damage per room as I go through. So as I'm shivering. So 1, 2, 3, 4, including the room. Actually, I've probably done one too many there. Take off that one. And then I'll get that tick once I've finished this room. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, so we're down here. Let's have a look what we get. 2 by 4. Okay, so we've got kind of a tall room in the space. That's actually that's 5. Let's not do that. 2 by. We'll leave that space there. Right, it can only have 1 exit. So let's have a look. Yes, it definitely has 1 exit. It's going to go this way. And what is this room, pray tell? Let's have a look. 62. So that is a spike chamber. Now that is unique, and we already have had a spike chamber with a barrack knight in it, which was a tough fight. So we can't have another one of those, so we'll roll again. 33. A loot lockup. This is not unique. So bars and a locked gate section off a corner room. Inside you see 2 chests. The gate has a lock +1. If you succeed, roll on C1 and C2. Then on L2TR. So L2TR is... Let me show you here. L2. Oh. L2TR. Did I read the right thing? What was it? Oh, 33. Ah, that is an error, I think. Let me check. Damn. See? This is a... Unless it's... Oh no, it's trap. Level 2 trap. It's not... That's just me having not played a couple of weeks. No, for a week. Just been rolling combats and writing levels. It's a trap. Yes, it is. You're right, Brian. Yes. Okay, so, right. Now, the question is, do we want to try and I think we do. We haven't had a lot of gold, so we want to go in. We're going to put in here, this is a loot lockup. Put that there. Okay. Loot lockup. And in one corner is a chest. Now, these are not two chests in there. We've had one of these before on this level, but as I say, they're not unique. So we've got two chests there. Now, I have... Hello, Toby. Nico, how are you doing? Just printed out the rules of 0.99 at work today. Haha, looking forward to playing again. Even bought new dice only for 2d6 Dungeon. I have much fun. Greetings from Germany. Guten Tag. That's about the extent of my German. So, that sounds awesome. I am thinking about getting some new dice as well, actually. Don't tell the wife. Okay. So we've got... let's just check this again. So we've got C1 and C2. So I've got a lock pick here to get into this space. I have one lock pick here. It's got two. It's a +2, and I've got two more uses on it. So we need to establish. It's a lock gate +1. The gate has a lock +1. So I need to figure out what that lock is, and to do that, I'll read it through. Guten Tag, awesome. This is why my teenagers find me so embarrassing. Right. So let me just. I like to read out the rules. So locks and lock picks. So some locks or cells have a modifier next to them, like lock +2, -2. The number is applied to the lock quality. Roll 2d6 for the quality of lock and write this number on the map next to the lock. Let's do it. So we've got 7, and that was a +1. So that is an 8 quality lock. Let's just put that in there. Put a lock. You write a little L, and then there's an 8 next to it. Now, can I use my lock pick successfully? Let's have a look here. To pick this lock, you will need to roll higher than or equal to this number on 2d6. Apply your precision modifier. You only get one roll per lock. Now, something that I have to think about, as a designer of the game, I need to think, as the levels go up, I need to make sure that these locks become harder to pick, because your precision modifiers are going to increase. At the moment, it's +1, but if it's this lock that's like that in a much deeper level of dungeon, it's going to have to be a much higher quality lock to be any kind of challenge for a high level character. So I have to think about that. But I think this looks okay. So we have got let's have a look. So +1, and also with this lockpick, it's a +2. So I get +3. I have got to roll over 8. Is it roll over or equal? You need to roll higher than or equal to. So I've got to roll 8 or higher So I'm going to roll 5 or higher with 2 dice. And we get a 7. So I'm able to pick the lock. I'm going to cross off one of the uses here. Like so. So one use. So the door opens. And inside we have 2 chests. But it was never going to be that easy. Because this particular space is trapped. Firstly, we're going to have a look at what treasure we get. Let's have a look at that. It's a C1 and a C2. Now, with the new codex for the backers, we've got a whole range of other loot tables in here that I've added in, including the runestone table. So let's go to, we've got chests, level 3 and 4 chests in there as well. Body search tables, and let's go to chest table 1 here. So we're going to 2d6. We get a 7. The chest contains a clutter of medical objects, including 2 bandages, a potion of healing, and a throwing dart. In fact, I may well have had that exact combination before. So what we can do is times 2 on these ones here. So I've got a throwing dart. Mustn't forget I've got a throwing dart to use at the beginning of a combat. And throwing dart times 2. It was potion of healing. Okay. So potion of healing. Let's put that. And now we've got 4 potions. We're kind of well lined up here for a fight. Very handy. And let's have a look. We have C2. 9. Okay. You tip out a collection of objects, including a purse containing 2d6 plus 10 silver coins. 13. And a bracelet. So let's put 13 silver coins on there. And a bracelet worth D6 plus 5. 7 gold coins. Seven gold coins there. Okay. Right, but I'm going to pay the price. Let's go to the trap table for level 2. Here we go. Level 2 trap table. 2d6 and see what happens. 10. A spear shoots from the wall. If you have the long sword, you can deflect it. Otherwise, lose D3 hit points. 3 hit points. The spear bursts my arm, and I'm like, ah, as it takes 3 damage from me. Damn. 27. Now, as it happens, I have some Malaco leaves. I've got 3 times on the Malaco leaves, so I am going to use one of those. I'm like, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to immediately heal myself back up to 30 there. So Malaco leaves create 3 doses. Each one heals 1 hit point, health point of damage. So we have this space here. I think that's all been sorted. We managed to pick the lock, open the chests, and then we faced the spear trap, which got us, unfortunately. Now, the exits for this room, which we should have checked originally, is reinforced doors. Okay, yes, that would make sense. So this is a reinforced door. Let's see if it's locked. 4. Now, there you go. This is the interesting new rule swinging into play in the second room that we've been in. So, where is it here? So, reinforced doors, a 5 and 6 are locked. We rolled a 4. If it was a metal door, it would have been locked. Just to confirm that. So it isn't locked. We're going to go through to the next room. And that is a corridor. It's 1 across and 3 up. Interesting. So I'm going to put corridor like that. How many exits does it have? Let's have a look. Has 1 exit. So we're going to put it at the bottom here. Like so. And of course exits are corridors, archways. We're going to go into more soaked. Good point. Thank you. So we've got 1 here. 1 more tick on the soaked. And the soaked is every time you go through a room and not a corridor. This is an interesting point actually. Let me just look this up here just to check what I put in. Where is it? Additional. I thought it was around here somewhere. Just want to say water. If you're moving, blah blah, rub it off. Must be. You just want to say if the water is present. Until then, you must tick boxes on the character sheet. 1 for each room thereafter you encounter before cleaning. Yes, so it is room. So corridors don't count. I thought that was the case. Right, we're going to this space here. What are we going to get? Oh, we get another corridor. 1, and we're going to go up 3 here. Cool. Does it have any exits? 3. 1 exit. I'm going to go this way. Interesting little sequence of corridors there. And then we've got a 6 and a 1. Okay, so it goes all the way along here. Wicked. How many exits does this have? Well, actually, it says here we've got 2 exits. So we'll put 1 here, and well, we can't really have 1 going down there. It'll just lead to a corridor space. We're going to do that. Do this space down here, and it's actually 1 by 4. So it's like a dead end. I'm going to leave it as a dead end there. And we're going to go up to this space here. So I will shade this in. It will become a bit clearer. Broom closet, lol. Exactly. There's going to be a random table that you can roll on, which will allow you to have some event at the end of a dead end corridor like that. So that was one of the add-ons. So that table is in the making. So this room here is 4 by 2. Okay, 4 by 2. So it does fit a nice little room in here. Look at this. What have we got? How many exits? 1 exit. Going to put it there on the side. Amazing, Johnny. I always thought it would be a perfect space for big spiders. Yeah. There are. I think. Have I done that table or not? I can't remember. There's definitely something to be said about the way dungeons are made. I mean, they tend. In my mind, you would have dead ends, or you would have space that didn't quite work out. You know, maybe even a dungeon's hasn't been completed, but they just left it as it is, kind of heritage. Right, so what is this room? Let's have a look. 2d6. Sorry, D66. We have 56. Metal workshop. Cool. Metal workshops are not unique. Let's write this in here. There we go. Quiet concentration for a minute there. Trying to write as small and neat as possible. Okay. I mean, talking about maps, if you really want to see some amazing maps, then you need to check out Todd's maps. They are bellissimo. Okay, Metal Workshop. Let's read this. Desks and shelves line one wall. There are hammers, strips of metal, and an anvil. Now, this room would be perfect to fix some metal armor if I had it, but I don't. There are some strips of metal. There's a hammer. Maybe I might take the hammer if we get through this. So, a blacksmith turns to face you. If you survive, you find some items. Roll on MIT1 and MIT2. So, some metal items. Right, let's put a bit of drawing in here. Yes, we need cobwebs in corridors. Yes. Yeah, yes. If the anvil has ACME label run. Yes. An interesting receipt. Hammers are worth some gold. That is a good point. That is a very good point. Right, let's fight this blacksmith. I don't think he's going to be too much of a problem, because he is a level 1 character. There she is. And let's just do. We've got a black metal workshop, desks and shelves. Let's have a nice desk here. We've got some bits of metal on the side there, and then there's a hammer in there, nice. And then we've got some shelving over here, maybe with some stuff on there, nice. And blacksmith, nice, easy first fight. HP 5 in there. Now let's have a quick comparison here. Where's my character? Here he is. We've got the blacksmith there, Arundal, the round here. So we've got round 1, and the blacksmiths doesn't know what they're getting themselves into here, but they're going to defend their dungeon domain. How dare you interrupt me while I'm hammering some metal. My attack 2, 3. I can shift this to a pummel, which is D6 minus 2 damage. Crossed arms on secondary 3s and 6s. So secondary 3s, it does a minus 2 damage to that. So it's minus 2. So it's minus 4 damage. Wow. Wow. This blacksmith, he knows this move I'm trying to do on him. Let's do it then. 6. 2 damage anyway. The arms bust apart as I break through the defences. It's hammer time. It really is. So he's down to 3. And the blacksmith has a go. Right, they need a 4, 3. 1, 6. No way, Jose. Okay, number 2. 4, 5. Now, I can change that again to the pommel. But again, they see it coming. 2, no damage. Blacksmith has a go. 5, 6. Nope, they can't shift to that. They've got 1 shift. Really, level 1 character against my level 3 character is not going to really survive very long in theory. 6, 5. I can do that to the drubbing. And that is then 3 plus 1 is 4 damage, which kills the blacksmith. Probably the easiest fight we'll have in the immediate. So that's minus 1. Right, so the blacksmith has 9 XP. let's just add that onto there. That's going to be 696, and yeah, so yeah, I mean, that is very true. I mean, but we're looking at stuff like level 3 is more like 70 or 100 normally. This is just a weak character because of the theme, if you like, the theme of the room. Okay. So what we need to do is have a roll on where is it? Blacksmith, metal workshop, MIT1 and MIT2, which is the random, which is green. Let's get the green going. Here we go. MIT. Oh, and they've also got a pouch as well, or is it MRT? Okay. Hi, surely the blacksmith has a fire for heating the metal. Good point. Okay. Yeah, 693, sorry. 93. What did I say? 96. 93. 693. So we're doing well. All right. Okay. So we've got some metal stuff going on here. Let's do this. That blacksmith is an old version of the blacksmith, I believe. There's a change on the treasure list there. Fire should fix a soak condition. That is brilliant. We're going to come to that at Introvert's Retreat. That is a very good point. Let's have a look. We will go to MT1. So we've got a handful of nails and some ball bearings. Okay, very nice. Handful of nails and some ball bearings. Let's put that on the list here. Handful of nails. Now we need something to put that in. And ball bearings. Now I'm going to put that in a box because I've got a small box up here. So I'm going to combine those. So we've got those in that box. So I've kind of combined them here. Handful of nails and ball bearings in a box. Very nice. And we'll leave that there for the minute. And I don't think I need to do anything else there. Metal workshop. It's got archways as well, so we're good on the exit. And right, so somewhere Wile E. Coyote is smiling, indeed. So, God, I loved that cartoon when I was a kid. So, right, let me just check something here. Desks and shelves line on wall. There are hammers, strips of metal, and an anvil. Ooh, now, this is an interesting point. So, an Introvert's Retreat has raised the point that there may well be a fire in this metal workshop. And I quite like that. You see, this is the thing. It hasn't specifically said there is a fire, but we're a bit limited on the space. So you could argue that there is a little bit of a burner going there, and I could just spend a moment and heat myself up, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Good call. I like the narrative. So we're going to remove the soaked status, warm ourselves up. Thank you for that. And I'm going to make a note of that on my little narrative moments here. Was able to heat myself up in the metal workshop after getting wet from fishing. Nice. Johnny says maybe he uses magical scrolls to heat the metal, or potions. Well, it's really probably quite unlikely that that is the case. So he has a little burner, and probably doesn't have much access to magic, unfortunately. But in any case, that's you see, that for me is a nice little piece of narrative. It's a nice little capsule, and it adds a bit to the story. All right, so we're going to go up here. Unless he's cold forging armorsmith friend of mine did his plate armor that way. Unless it's cold forging, could be. It could be. Right, we're going to go up this space here. There are archways into the next room, 4 by 2. Okay, so this makes it a small room. Can you see here? So it's 4, it goes 4 that way, and then 2. Because this wall stops it, I'm not having the room sort of creep along there. I like to keep my rooms rectangles or squares. It does say in the rules that they really should be rectangles or squares. It's a small room, so it's under 6 spaces. Go to the small rooms table. Here, level 2 small rooms. It's 2d6 for this one. 11. Mushroom farm. There is a small vat built into the wall here, and it is full of earth. Growing in some soil are some mushrooms. They are edible. Roll d6. If you roll 3 or more, it can count as a ration. Okay, cool. Alright. Something on my tooth there. Right, so I think let's do a roll. 2. It can't count as a ration. Obviously just not enough. But what I can do is I can pick a mushroom, and I will put a mushroom on my sheet here, because mushrooms actually can be a useful ingredient. So maybe I'll say 3. I'll pick 3 small mushrooms on the mushrooms farm. Gonna fit that in here. M farm. In this small space. Okay, now how many exits does it have? That's the question. 4. It does have an exit that goes up this way. Okay, you see we're squeezing these rooms in here. Right, so we've got an exit, and they're all archways from there. So we're going to carry on. 5 by 2. Again, another small room. 5 by 2. And that leads us up to here. Okay, what small room do we have? Yes, basically an introverted sheet. When you're waiting for someone to come through, or you're going down a level. Sometimes you can use rations to save prisoners if they need to eat. And I think there are one other 2 things that are kind of baked in. Right, let's have a look. Let's see how many exits. Yeah, we've got 1 exit coming up here. Like so. And we need to basically, because there's going to be, that room's going to be within this space here. Now this room may come out along here. And if that's the case, I'll connect up these 2 rooms here. Alright, it will naturally connect. Right, so this is a small room for level 2. It's 6. It's a Moldova sanctuary. There is a collection of bones lashed together in the form of Moldova here. A tray made of leg bones stands before it, into which you can make a correct offering. Check the God card. Gain 1 FP. 1 favour point. Okay, so this is the Moldova shrine. Going to do a little bone shrine here. There we go. And let's have a look and see what Moldova likes as sacrifice. Here we go. Good. So we have got, we don't have any wishbones, and we don't have any emeralds, unfortunately. But we do have some bone. Do we have any bone? So leather, ash, bag of bone of shaving, dried pumpkin seeds, bottle, handful of nails, bandages, pouch of sand, malacco leaves. Right. Now what we don't have any bones, but we do have a pouch, and one of those is definitely made of leather. So we're going to get rid of a pouch, and we're going to sacrifice some leather and destroy the pouch, and put the pouch to make the sacrifice, and gain 1 favour point for Moldova the Rot. Okay. Right. So next room. Let's have a look. We're out now, so it could come across this space. It's an archway leading out through here. We've got an archway, and 5 by 5. So that's a double. Roll again. So we've got 6 by 10. Wow. So let's have a look here. We are going to make this room connect up to all these exits. So we're going to have it like this. Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Just take that back a little bit. 6. In which case, that is a massive room. These exits are going to extend by 1 space up to these doors. So occasionally you do get it where you get a room which connects up with, and it ends up with two exits on the same the same wall. All right, which is fairly unusual, but it can happen. You just got to avoid doing it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 10 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. Okay. Fantastic. That all slots together very nicely. Just put a bit of shade in there. Okay, so we've got this massive room. It's obviously a large room, so you roll on the large room table, and then this room over here, up in this space, will be, if there is, what have we got? Unless this is the final room, we've got 3. So we've got 1 exit. Okay, so we have an exit there already. This is the final room. So we're going to say this is the throne room. Okay, and because with this level we have a special room that is the into the level 3 there. Now, if this is, no, Yeah, because that's the exit. We've got exits all going on there like that. Now we could, that arguably could be other, but I'm not going to do that one. We're just going to have this as the last room of the dungeon, and we're going to have, it's the throne room. Now this is the throne room. The final, let me just put a little comment here because this is a bit of an anomaly. Final room can be large. A large space room plus throne. That'll be like a word or two I just need to adjust in the rules next time. Right, so the throne room. Here it is. Throne room. A massive stone throne sits on a raised platform. Wooden benches line the walls. Okay, so we're going to have a massive throne up here in this space. Like so. Here. Ba-ba-da. And then we've got some wooden benches along the walls. Got some other wooden benches down here. It's kind of like a viewing chamber. And stairs down. I'm going to put the stairs down here. So in this space we've got stairs down to the next level. Okay. Right. Sitting on the throne is an overlord. The large figure rises and sneers. You must face them. Duh. Okay. So we've got the biggest fight for this level, the toughest opponents. Let's see how we do. So obviously I've got some magic that I'm going to use. I've got the shrapnel burst. We're pretty kitted. We're pretty loaded up here. The question is, do I want to use as much stuff as possible, or do I want to bear in mind I'm going down a level and it's going to be much harder in the crypt? Let's just find the overlord, because he's tucked away in here somewhere. Looking through all these areas. Right. So. Okay. So I think it's pretty clear to me that I have been pretty fortunate with some of the stuff that I've found. We have got here a scroll of swamp lung. Now, the overlord has HP of 20. This, right? Yeah, metal doors, indeed. Weirdly though, Brian, because we've already got the exits here, we don't need to change those. If you just adapting exits that were there already, then you don't need to add the metal doors onto those. I mean, you can if you want to, but it's really no need. If it was an exit going this way, yes, it would be a metal door. It was an exit to a new space, if you see what I'm saying. So, yeah, so we've got the scroll of swamp lung. So I'm going to try and cast this. Okay. Scroll of swamp lung. Now, let's just have a little look at it here. This could be a very quick battle. So, scroll of swamp lung. Here we go. Swamp lung. You watch as a torrent of swamp water pours from your foe's mouth. It's instant, it's primordial. We've got a fail of -1 and dispel doubles are double 5s. Okay, so let's just go to the casting spells section and we'll read that out as I like to do. Using magic scrolls. Okay. Scrolls can be cast at the very start of combat or outside of combat, but never during. Okay. The way you encounter rooms in 2d6 dungeon means you almost always have the initiative in combat to attack first and cast a spell from a scroll, but doing so means that the creature attacks first, whereas if you do not cast a scroll, you attack first. Once the scroll is read, even if it fails, it crumbles to the ground and the energy is spent. Cross the scroll off your character sheet. Reading the arcane language on the scroll summons the specific energy to cast a spell, but controlling this is an altogether different proposition. To cast, roll 2d6. If you roll a double, you have locked in the power and carried out the scroll's effect successfully. Otherwise, the spell fails. You can use your discipline modifier to shift the dice to a double, following the same process used with attack maneuvers. Some more complex scrolls have one or more dispel doubles listed. The spell also fails if the dispel double is rolled, representing that the power brought forth by the spell is harder to control. If you fail to cast a spell, then there may be complications. Roll on the fail to cast correctly table. Some scrolls have a failed modifier which is deducted or added to the failed to cast correctly roll, which we will have a look. Maybe that might happen. Okay. If you roll a double 6 and the spell does damage, double the damage. If you roll a double 1, the spell does damage, halve it. Round it up. Whenever you cast or attempt to cast a magic spell scroll, you gain 5 XP per adventure level. Okay, here we go. Boss need to be yes. I mean that is a valid point. Preventing one-time hits. I like your thinking. That is a good thought process. I'll make a little note of that. Overlord. That's a good point. Right. Here we go. So, rolling 2d6. I need a double, and I can use my discipline, which is +2, to shift it. We don't want double 5s, because don't forget, the spell doubles mean it doesn't work. We can do this. This is what you want. 2 4s! We've got a double 4. When you're rolling to cast scrolls, what you want is 2 numbers that say near each other. You get a 2 and a 6, or 1 and a 6, or 1 and a 5. You're screwed. So, here we are. We've got a double 4. We cast the scroll correctly. I move in, pull out the scroll, read the runes, the magic fills the space, and the Overlord collapses to his knees as this swamp water gushes from his mouth and bursts from his nose. You can see him, the pressure in his face as it grows, and he kind of like cracks. He starts to split and collapses dead on the floor. That is how you cast a magic scroll. Okay, I did wonder whether that would be over pretty quickly. Awesome. It's nice when it works. I'll cross that off there. Nice. Right. Okay. So, we didn't get to fight him. Would have been interesting. Swamp Thing possessed him. Cody, you're not wrong. He really did. He came in good. And, right, so, in the throne room, we are going to, let's, let me just get this here, throne room, Swamper's Lung, just to say no to fried frog legs. Yeah, as he's falling down, like a set of frog legs pop out of his mouth, and then collapses, and he kind of sodden splash on the ground as his big body slumps down. Okay, throne room. So, Yeah, there's no additional massive there's no additional treasure there, but he does have treasure on him. So he has a pouch level 2 and +3, including an extra 3d6 gold. Excellent. So we need some gold. We're a bit low because we need to be able to buy some better armor. Not that that's been tested in the last few rooms. Right. Here we go. Pouch. Pouch 2 +3. Here we are. This should be good, hopefully. It is. It's a 12. Okay, in the pouch are D3 high quality pearls. How many of those do we get? 2. Let's write that in there quickly. 2 high quality pearls. And half a broken ornate item. Roll on half an ornate item table. Let's do that. You can match these up and they're worth a lot more money. Here we are. Half an ornate item. 2, half a copper pendant worth D6 silver coins. Now, as it happens, on my list, on my things here, I have half a copper pendant worth D6. Okay. So we can times 2, and then that will then increase the value. Where have I got that? I'm not going to search through that now. We'll deal with that when we go to town. When we do the when we pop to town next, that'll be no problem. Right. So that is good. That kind of, it's like a mini quest almost. Swamper's Choice sounds like something from the Outer Worlds. Yeah, certainly it does. I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for it, Johnny. Right, we get 120 XP, so that leaves me 813, which is in a good position to go up to the next level as we head down. And I get the extra gold as well. Let's do that. Oh, 3. Come on, die rolls. 5, 8 gold. We'll just make that one 9. Okie dokie. Could you melt the 2 parts at the blacksmiths? I think they slot together. I think there's a rule in there where if you get the 2 amulets, they get like 3 times the value or something like that. I'll look that up when we go back to town, when we eventually do go back to town, because we're in a good position at the moment. Right, let's just put up here, throne room. Okay, awesome. Right. Now, is there anything that I want to take from there? I don't think there's anything that jumps out at me. Very handy to have that very powerful spell to dispatch and then roll, and a good roll for casting that scroll. Now, we will be going down to level 3 in the next session. What we'll do is we'll leave the exploring there, I think, for the minute. It makes sense. It's kind of getting later. We've nearly done stream for 2 hours. We usually do, roughly speaking, about 2 hours. I think that's been good. I think we've done a few little bits of inventive usage, which have increased the narrative. I'm just going to put on here, faced the Overlord. The Overlord, and cast Swamp Lung successfully. Killing him. frog's legs and all. Okay, nice. Good. Excellent. Right, so before the next one, I will go over this. Just highlight some of the areas, fill in the text so we get a clearer picture about how this level of the dungeon looks. Pretty awesome. Oh, now, ticked off. Right, so we've done level 2 now, and we're going down to level 3. So we're kind of two notches on the legend tracker there, which is great. We've got ourselves some another potion of healing. We've got the shrapnel burst bomb, which we can use at some point, which is going to be really cool. We're going to go down. I will deal with the stairs in the next go, so we'll have to spend a ration. I'm also going to have a little look at my ingredients here, see whether I've got anything that can go towards the next bomb as well. We're at 30 health points, so we haven't lost anything. We're in a pretty good position, I think. We've got some treasure. The pearls we got, now they are worth, let's have a little look here. They are worth high quality pearls are worth 10 gold coins each, so we've got 20 gold coins worth of pearls there, which is awesome. We're on the way to maybe buying some armor, but I definitely feel like we need to, before we go back to town on the next level, we're going to need to explore a bit deeper. Right, I think that is it for this evening. We have had a good old time. I'm sure if you've got any questions, throw them in there now before we go. It feels like the right moment to leave it. This week I'm going to be ploughing on with levels 5 and 6. We've got lots of interesting characters coming up. I'll give you a little preview here. The Infernal Cardinal, the Veludian Brawler, the Efflux Kriya, the Mordial Axamim, the Raptured Shibe, the Summoned Flayer, and then there are some other ones as well, like the Red Guard, which is new to the level 4s, and then there's a few new level 3s as well. I think it's been fun to watch a pro play. Yeah, thanks, Johnny. We've got the Afflicted, Shadow Blades, Old Fang Pillarists, the Basal Initiates, Puppeteer, the Grey Anchorites. They're like the new. So there's a whole bunch of kind of religious figures and magic-based people coming to level 5 and 6. This is going to be well exciting. And if you can get through the crypt, you're back into sort of more kind of human style environments. Cody, glad to catch up on the stream. Nice way to chill on my birthday. Happy birthday! Happy birthday, my friend. And Cody's Nightbird games. Cody, you're doing working on some games at the moment, aren't you? So if you don't follow Cody, look him up. Pleased with how it's gone. So guys, exciting things ahead. I will put some updates on the Facebook page. If you're getting down into levels 3s and 4s, it'd be great to hear what you think. I'm always kind of keen to look at people's reports, and kind of it all adds into the balancing in my head, as in not my sanity, but as in how the levels work successfully or not, and then obviously that has a massive effect on how the new creatures are developed. Congratulations on surviving another trip around the sun on the galaxy's premier asylum, Nightbird. Lol. I like it. Yes, one more trip around the sun. Yeah. We survive in our own little ways, don't we? Good stuff. As long as we can escape to worlds like these worlds that we're creating here with this game and all the other great solo player games and board games and RPGs that we play, then I think we'll be all right. We'll be okay. We'll be all right. We can escape reality. All right, guys. In which case, I will catch up with you very soon. All the people that are doing work for me and for the game, just drop me mails if you've got questions, anything like that. I did send out some combat testing for the play testers. Don't feel like you have to do that. If you can, it would be awesome, but it's okay. I understand, that time is demanding, and it's fine. But we've had some great feedback from Nick, and I know Brian's got it incoming. Hopefully, we'll hear from Bob as well. He's great with the old stats on the playtester side of things. So lots of things going on there, guys. Toby will be sending you stuff tomorrow. Awesome. Johnny, it was great. Thanks for the hard work. No problem. It's brilliant. I'm very lucky to be able to do this. Hoping to get some time this week to play test. Brilliant. Awesome stuff, Johnny. Don't forget that Facebook page. We've got 700 people now on that as part of the Facebook page, which is just mind-blowing. It's brilliant. It's a great community. Guys, I will catch up with you very soon. Thanks again for being here. Have a good week.